What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, world? How are you doing? Again, it's all good. This is the Sugar Hill Gang podcast, and I am your host. I am the MAS, the TER, the G to the double E. I go by the unforgettable name of the man they call the Master G, and I'm joined by my brother. What's up, Hen Diggity? Say what's up, Hen Diggity.
What's up, baby? Wakanda forever. You know it.
Bless your heart. Also, my man, Pots and Pans, T Dynasty. Say what's up, T Dynasty. What's up, baby?
I'm still dancing.
And today, folks, today, on our show, we are joined by two of the most fabulous individuals that I have known to be down with the sounds of the funky joints. Bill Bailey and OT. What up?
Yeah.
What up? Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, guys?
Oh,
Great, man. We're great.
Bill and OT. Let me say this just from a perspective of just a person that just enjoys people who enjoy what they do. Our people reached out to me and they're like, "Gee, you don't understand. They got the show on. It's like Dancing with the Stars, but it's the British version. And this comedian and he's dancing with his partner, and they use rabbits, and they send me the clip, right? So I see the clip, and I'm like, wow, I'm blown away. I'm like, this is crazy. So then it goes a little bit further, and it's like, damn, this is pretty nice, man. That's a real good thing. It's great. And of course, thank you for the check. I mean, but anyway, you know. And
you're welcome.
Thank you. And it goes on, but it goes on that they come back to me and they say, hey, man, they got a chance to win this whole thing. And I'm like, what? Really? And then the next thing I get is, you guys won? Oh my God. Congratulations. What was I just want to know, whose idea was it to just even use Rabbit Delight, and then how did you come up with that routine?
It was our producers, our executive producer. Her name is Sarah James, and the one thing that she loved about Belle was she said for her, the fact that Bill Bailey was on the show was the biggest booking of her entire career. She's been in show business for so many years. And she wanted to respect him so much. She's like, I've watched every single tour of this man. I've seen every single program. And so for me to get this is an unbelievable honor. And every song that she picked or suggested for us, it was the first time that we used it. And we wanted to do what I wanted. Bill and I, we were like street dance, and everybody was like, no, don't do it. Let him do musical theater. It's not going to look good. I was like, no, this is our journey. Bill is going to do it. And she chose the song. And then Bill was like, oh my goodness. and then while we were in the meeting, and it's a very serious meeting, Bill got up and started rapping the whole song from beginning to end. And we were like, that's the one. That's the one.
It's got to be. I couldn't believe it, the show is a huge show. It's a really big, it's a shame in the Dancing with the Stars, a big show, very popular show. Yeah. And the music is such a big part of it. And you've got to get the music right. And in this particular dance, it's like as Oti was saying, it's like the street dance or the commercial. It's a kind of an open category. So you can have all kinds of different music on it. And when Sarah suggested that, I was like, this is like, for me, it's like a dream come true, because this song, it means so much to me. This is like the song that introduced me to hip hop. It introduced me to rap. It was like one of the most pivotal songs of my youth. And as Oti was saying, I used to rap. I remember whole sections of it, like when I got to tell you, right, when we were, and Oti, I think you'll know this, when we do the show, we would then, we'd announce on the show what song we were going to be dancing to the next week, right? So we were in the studio, and the hosts are saying, okay, so tell us what you got coming up next week. And so they say, well, what is it? And I just started going, well, hip, a hop, a hip, a hip, a hip, a hop, and you don't stop, rock it to the bang, bang, boogie, so up, jump the boogie to the rhythm. And then the place is going nuts, right? So then by the time I finish doing that and get to my dressing room, which is only like a few minutes away, my phone just lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I had like all these messages from people going, "What? You're dancing to Rapper's Delight? This is the song of my youth. This means so much to me." I had all these messages from my friends from school, people I hadn't seen in years, getting in touch. You know, it was amazing.
Right, that's crazy.
So listen. Tell me your Rapper's Delight story. When was the first time you heard it? Give me that setup. Give that to me.
All right. So this is we're talking now 79 when the song was released in the UK. Right. And so I was like, I was a teenager, and I think probably I would have heard it on the radio, and it just was one of those moments. I was like, I couldn't quite, I can't even now. The moment is sort of frozen in that. It's like, what is this? This is like, we're coming from an era when there was punk. Was the music we listened to. If you looked at the charts back then, it was like there was the hangover from the 70s. There was like prog rock. There was a lot of heavy rock stuff. There was a lot of punk,
disco stuff,
a lot of disco. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And in the British charts, there would always be there'd be a novelty record or something. You know, like a bunch of footballers doing some kind of novelty record. You know, and like it was kind of a crazy charts, like completely mad, erotic mix of sounds. And then amongst all of this came this song, which was, and I know that I think it's worth repeating that now because hip hop and rap is so successful around the world right now. Everyone knows it. You know, you say to kids now, you just go, of course I know hip hop. Like my son is 17. You know, he listens to hip hop and rap. So do all his friends. It's gone everywhere. It's global. It's a huge success story. But back then, not many people had heard it. You know, This was totally new. This was like I was like, what is this? People are just speaking, talking over, like they're just having fun, passing the microphone around. Well, my name is Matt. Oh, and I'm going to tell you about me. And it's like, what is this? This is like people having fun. This is like a party. And it was, I can't, tell you, I can't overstate the importance of it and the cultural impact that it had.
You know, the thing about Rapper's Delight for us, and the reason why we ask everybody that comes on the show what's their Rapper's Delight story, but it's a very interesting situation because, you know, the realization of what Mike and I and Hank have had, you know, to accept, you know, America was one thing, you know, that's why this is really cool. America was one thing because it was an American thing initially, you know, and so when it broke across the country, it really wasn't. It was hot, and I knew that it was hot, and I understood that. But the thing that really, really started taking me back, because again, I was 17 years old when I cut Rapper's Delight. I was a junior going to senior year in high school, and so the first time that I came to Europe, came to the UK. It was, of course, on that first tour. And the way that people in the UK responded to it was like we were like aliens landing coming in from the moon to like Earth. The way it was incredible. And even like you said, to this day, I will always remember what that felt like. It was like the first time that I really felt like, wow, we are really making something happen. Because like you said, see, in America and in the New York metropolitan area, it was going on in the streets.
Yeah.
Right. So once it started hitting, you know, the UK, Europe, Asia, it was literally something that nobody had, you know, like we were the first people to come to UK to physically rap. That first tour that we did over there, that was the first time people actually saw a rapper. Yeah. So, you know, it's pretty incredible. And then, like you said, to see what it's become, you know, some of these 40 some odd years later, is also an incredible thing. So OT, do you have a Rapper's Delight story?
I might be slightly young. Well, I am from South Africa. Okay. And South Africa, and
no doubt,
hip hop came into South Africa a little bit late. It definitely was still there, but in those days we got from America. It was a lot of jazz. We have the Miriam Makeba, we had the Hugh Masekela, and we brought in a lot of jazz, and I think that was the export. And so Rapper's Delight and my dad is very much a jazz. I wear a suit and a tie and a hat, and I don't get out of that. So Rapper's Delight was obviously this kind of song where you're like, this is not what I raised you to be like. And then my sister, my older sister, especially being from South Africa, and we already have a lot of crime and violence there, they're like, no hip hop. Then my older sister brought in her first boyfriend, and I just remember them listening to the song just over and over and over and over and over again. And I just couldn't remember what it was. I really forgot it. And then I don't know if you guys know the Redknaps. Harry Redknapp, he was the coach of the English team.
Football team.
Yeah.
Team.
And Louise Redknapp was this super pop star. She was part of what was her name? They had a pop group, and we went out once, and she's like, I know a song. She's like, I'm cool. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I'm cool. We went for a karaoke night, and she was like, I said, a hip, hop, a hip, and she knew the whole song. And I was like, and I mean, this is a football wife, footballer's wife. She's also a pop queen, and she was singing this song, and I was like, I better get used to it. So when Bill played it, I was like, okay, this is not my generation, but I can see you're feeling it. I can see you're feeling it. So we're gonna go with it.
No, it's amazing. So Bill, I mean, and tell us a little bit about for our fans, because Sugar Hill Gang fans are vast. But tell us a little bit about, man, some of the things that you've done, because you've done some incredible things, man. I mean, you've been part of so many different.
Yeah, know what? I've got to say that. I'll tell just a very brief thing. I'm a stand-up comedian. That's what I'm primarily known for. I've been touring sort of for about 25, 30 odd years now. Toured all over the world, collaborated with some great artists, great musicians. And I've also I've acted a lot in a lot of TV shows, sitcoms, and films, and so on. I've sort of hosted documentaries. I've done panel shows, docos. I've done all kinds of things, So dancing is
very
my
talented,
latest
man.
thing. Yeah,
very talented. Very talented.
But you know what? This is just to kind of like put the sort of context a little bit more of Rapper's Delight into this whole thing, and that is that I've sort of performed in front of large crowds and done big gigs and rock gigs and festivals and so on over many, many years.
I felt like we met you at a festival.
Yeah, you know what? We could well have done. That's so possible to have happened. I'm sure that day may have happened. I'm sure of it. And you know what? When I was thinking about, I was just saying to Oti, like a friend of mine, Janet, texted me, and she's an old school friend, and she said, when you said you were going to be doing Rapper's Delight, she goes, I have a memory of you when we were 18, and we were at a party in the west of England where I grew up in a barn, and she goes, I remember you rapped the entirety of Rapper's Delight, the whole 15 minutes of it. You just freestyled it in front of a bunch of people in a barn, and I get. This was one of the first times I performed in front of people. So, one of the first times I got up, I was 17 or 18. I was kind of like a youth, a raw youth, and getting up in front of people and performing this song was one of the first things I did. So, so it's kind of it's right there, baked into my performance bones.
So you knew then at that particular time that you wanted to be in the show business, even though you weren't a comedian or you weren't thinking about acting or anything.
I didn't know. Yeah,
Wow.
that's it. I had no idea. I knew I wanted to get up and perform in some way. I wanted to sort of, what I loved, you see, I loved the spoken word. That's one of my great loves, you know, and that's why I ended up doing comedy, I guess. And the two loves are music and the spoken word. And so this kind of like marries the two of those things together, the percussive sound of it. And I guess I just loved that. And I loved performing it. So anyway, so that's it.
No,
so yeah.
no.
So since then, I've just done all kinds of things.
Right, right. You write your own jokes?
Write my own jokes, yes.
Yeah,
I do.
that's what's
I
up.
write all my own stuff.
Okay.
I try it out in front of my wife, and she just sits there and goes, "Nah, you know,
Oh
it's not
yeah,
good enough."
I got that here. Trust me.
She's my
I got
toughest
you.
critic.
Mine too. I
Wow.
get you. I got it. OT.
OT. What about you? What made you get into show business?
So I am from South Africa, and I am the dancer here. I've been dancing since I was 4. I'm 31 now, and yeah, I come
31. Let me see some ID.
yes. You know, it's cockers. I was popping.
No doubt. I feel you.
No, yeah. And I'm 8-time South African champion in Latin and ballroom. And after dancing in South Africa, I moved to Germany, and then I became German champion. And from there, I became European champion as well. And then came on to Strictly. And I won in 2019. And then I won again in 2020 with Bill.
Yes.
That's been amazing.
That'll work. Yes.
But I'm definitely loving the 2020 vibes of it.
you know, OT, you might not know this, but when I was in high school, I did ballet. Now that's about 150 pounds.
Oh my God! Go away.
See that?
No, don't humor him.
I got a form.
He's got some moves.
No, don't humor him, guys. Don't humor him. Bill.
I'm just worried. Is T.O.K. parked up there? Is he all right parked up there?
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
Hey, listen.
He's good.
Is he legally parked there? He's not going to get moved on there.
Oh my word! I love it.
Bill, what instruments do you play?
Well, I play
all of them.
Well, all of them. I started off learning the piano when I was about the same age when Odie started dancing, when I was about 4 or 5. And I sort of learned all the exams. I kind of had an affinity for it. So I did all my exams, all my sort of grades. And I thought at one stage I might go to music college. And then I discovered comedy. and then,
it's all the same thing.
That was it, you know.
Yeah, man. It's entertainment. Yeah, no question.
That was it. I was hooked, you know. I
Yeah.
did a gig pretty much. I was 19, 20. And it was a local club in where I grew up in the west of England. And I got up and I did 5 minutes of stuff. And I don't know what the hell I was doing, to be honest, you know. But you know, somehow I connected, and that was it. I got the buzz, and that was it.
Yeah, but you play even those African drums.
I played drums. Well, I taught myself the drums. I taught myself guitar. I taught myself a lot of things. So you know,
we're gonna do a session, Bill.
Yes.
Yes. I'm there.
We love that, man. We love that. That would be awesome.
The thing about us, the UK, for us, is home. UK is like a second home to us. You know, I mean, that London area is very special. And actually, for the last, since 2016, we've been spending, 2-3 months at a time in that part of the world. So we used to actually have a couple of flats in Kensington and Holborn. Out in Holborn, so what we did is we would come there and we do all Manchester, Tunbridge Wells. We do all the towns and we did the festivals. We did the the beat herder therapy and all of that. It was a bunch of and then from there, of course, once you're in that part of the world, then France and Germany. So we would fly to Spain and do a concert. So we spend a lot of time over there, and I'm saying that to say that one of my greatest joys is the ability to live in London. Like I feel very connected. I feel like London to me is like the European or the British version of New York. You know what I mean? It's like so hip, you know. And then the other thing is I'm big into history. So, you know, the ideal of moving through those streets, you know, because basically the streets never change. That is right. Twisty and turny in this city on the face. I mean, like, to try to get out of London to get to the airport, it's like we still like the you know, the coach will be moving, it'll be moving, and I'm sitting in there, I'm like, are we still in London? They be like, yeah, man, we're still here.
Yeah,
I'm like, but yeah,
it hasn't changed much. No, you're right.
So Bill, how does it feel, or did it matter to you not being part of Brexit? I mean, how did that whole Brexit thing impact you and you too?
Well, I think right now there's, I mean, the initial the way that it'll affect me is touring in Europe.
Yeah.
So that might be an issue because you know, getting from here, which we're not in the EU, getting into Europe, which is you know, a lot of the countries are in the EU, it's going to be an issue. That might be a problem. In fact, I think there's a big campaign that's been fronted by Elton John, Ed Sheeran, that's sort of talking about this, because a lot of musicians rely on their livelihoods by touring in Europe. And because of, you know, the kind of barriers now that are going to be put up there, it's going to be hard. It's going to be harder. It won't. You know, it's going to be easier. Maybe if you're a big international star, then maybe not so much. But for all the kind of up and coming bands and musicians who want to make their livelihood and gain new fans and maybe, you know, even sell some records in Europe, it's going to be a lot harder. That's the big problem, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we go ahead. Sorry, Artie, go ahead.
No, go on, son.
No, I you know, we spend a lot of time in Europe, so it's a huge artery of availability as far as getting yourself out and about, because there's a lot of cats that, you know, they make their bones in Europe, and then especially in America, a lot of times, you know, well, of course, we're going way back into the day, you know, when jazz music wasn't really understood here in America. That's where all the jazz musicians went. You know, they went to the UK and they was you know, spent time in Europe, and you know, and a lot of that, and a lot of that still stands true now. You know, like initially when we got back up and running as far as touring and performing, and we were having a little bit of a riff here in America. You know, the fact that, you know, once again, the UK and Europe was so immersed in our music. We you know, that's what we did. We went to Europe and the UK, and we stayed there for years. And then it gave a time for our popularity to get, you know, to come back up again, and we had a resurgence, and then, you know, one thing led to another. But yeah, how do you guys feel about the inauguration? Have you been paying any attention to that?
I mean, I think for me, when Kamala put her hand up, tears just came down my eyes.
I could imagine. Yeah,
but it's that you know, it's like you suck in air, like it's happening, and
a long time coming.
It's a long time coming, but also it just feels. And we're not American in any way, but somehow it just feels like a bit of weight has been lifted off our shoulders. Somehow
we're all connected.
Yeah, it might be like a boring 4 years, how I saw CNN describe it, but I feel like we just need a little bit of you know, rehab. We all need to literally calm down from what we've all been through in the past 4 years. Just knowing what's going to happen.
This is probably the first time in history that around the globe the inauguration makes sense.
Yes.
Yes. Because they all needed to get. It's just like they had the gopher in the White House tearing up the White House,
right?
And now it's gone.
I mean, from both of you, and OT, you can go first. How
you froze, and
on January 6th.
Say that again. Sorry.
You talking about January 6th?
Yeah. How was it? how did it affect you? Could you believe your eyes? What went down on January 6th?
It was almost like it was really upsetting. It was really upsetting and frustrating because we had just been through a whole Black Lives Matter protest, and not just in America. You go through it in Africa, and you go through it as well in Europe. And we had so many people in entertainment come out and say, you guys don't understand what we go through as Black people. You don't. And in the UK, there's kind of a thing of going, they go, no, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know it doesn't exist. That's not true. Those just experiences. You're just not good enough. You just don't belong there. Or they go, well, they only have you there because you're Black. So they've ticked the box. Tick, tick, tick. That's what they say. And people dying and people confessing and people having conversations. My husband is from East Europe. And I had to explain to him, I was like, our child is going to be of mixed race. So somebody is going to stop our child, we don't know, because his hair's too curly, he's in a black car, his windows are tinted, and they don't trust him. And not because maybe we are his parents, but just simply because of the way he looked. And that idea had never, ever, ever really came up in his head. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, but that's what's going to happen. So these conversations were able to happen, and it brought a lot of positivity for a lot of us as well, I must say. The UK have done a lot to change it. But when you see people that were being pushed by police and they were being beaten up, and then on January 6th, it's like they go, well, we're just going to move the gates for you. Go on. Go on. Let's join you. Let's join you. Let's film you. Let's high five. Let's do this. It's fine. This is our country. This is our Capitol Hill. And then the Trump coming out and saying, we love you. And when we did it, he said, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. It just almost feels like in America, it just feels like people are going, yes, this is what we like. If you don't like it, go away. And it's very separate. And I don't know if it's the media that heightens that, but that's what it feels like. It doesn't really feel like people are trying to change. Whereas in the UK, there might be some denials, but there are certain people who are agreeing and certain people who are taking the steps to make it better. People are trying to unify and rectify and make it more multicultural, even in society, even away from the camera. But in America, it's like they're going, this is it, deal with it.
If you can remember, OT, and Bill, I'll let you go right after this. I just want to get this part out while I'm thinking about it. If you can remember, before Prince died, one of the last conversations announcement that he had, he got up. I think they honored him with some kind of award or something, and Prince warned us. He said, "I love the direction that." That the music industry is heading, is completely growing. But he said, remember one thing. He said, it's okay to use the laptop, use your computer, but don't let it use you. And I think the biggest thing that's happening in America right now is that not only do we have alternative facts, and people, instead of getting their news from news sources and stuff like that, they rely on the internet to get their news. And there come lies, deceits, and Trump with his megaphone, he just confirmed everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they believed in him. Yeah. So I'm sorry, Bill. You can go now. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that.
No, I was going to agree with that. I say that that it's very telling, isn't it, that since Twitter banned Trump's, when they blocked his Twitter account, the incidences of fake news, whatever you want to call it, dropped off hugely. There was like a 70% drop in misinformation. Fraudulent claims about the election being stolen. All of that just kind of dropped off. And so it shows you what reach that has, what influence that has, and what a kind of negative effect that can have on people. I mean, I see it around, like people believe this stuff. You know, they've read some kind of thread on Facebook, and they think that that's some kind of
that's light. That's bread.
That's this is some insider knowledge that the government's not telling me. It's like, no, I don't think so. This is
at the beginning of the only thing this guy ever probably said out of his mouth that held any type of water was that the people are moved by press. By whatever. He used exactly what he said. He hated the press, and then he spun it around and just used them to do exactly what they do.
He used them for his agenda.
He told us at the beginning, I hate the press, and because they can make you do anything. Then he spun it around and used the press to do exactly what he wanted them to do, and let them do it and jump right off the damn hill.
I mean, it's just been funny and not funny, but just I don't think ever in the history of any country now in this century has a whole nation ever spoken so much about politics. He's brought so much awareness to politics, whether good, bad. He's made us talk about it, and the way he handled himself and he conducted himself and the manner in which he showed respect or lack of respect to certain people was amazing. But it just started to look like even from the inside, from the Republican side, they were now starting to turn against him and not even agree.
Right.
I think the thing is that, you know, like now it's going to be a time of a lot of healing, a lot of rebuilding, and all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that, you know, if anything, that what he leaves behind, what he did was to maybe expose a division, you know, and that division, and that had been there and had kind of been simmering away, and his really incendiary and reckless rhetoric exposed a lot of this division. You know, which now it's right out there. You know, it's front and center.
Can't take it for granted. Can't take it for granted.
People are saying, "Oh, well, he roused this," and I said, "No, it was always there. It was just dust covered.
Yes.
He blew the dust off the cover and let people, you know." And at the beginning, when he was running for president, I'll never forget this. He had a giant, I think they were either in Idaho or some weird, you know, South back country. And there was a woman who started speaking out against him, a black woman. The woman was dragged out of the rally and threw people were roll on both sides of her, and they were spitting on her. And one guy jumped out and punched her. The police never did anything about the people who spit on her, never did anything about the person who punched her. And then Trump said, and I'll never forget this, it echoed in my head. He said, back in the good old days, we would have handled that much differently. Yeah. And the crowd roared.
Yeah.
And I said, Jesus, he's just unleashing the dog.
Yeah, I think what Trump has done for a certain group of people was make them feel okay for how they were acting. He empowered them. He enlightened them. He brought them out to the front of this is what you truly believe in without having been told. This is what you've been taught. Now, just be proud and show it.
Well, that's the thing.
That's what it is.
The history of this country has been that undertow, period. You know what I mean? I mean, unfortunately, that is the reality of this situation. And with Trump being the focal point or the head figure, all it did was give that opportunity for people to be able to really just say what they wanted to say for the whole thing. You know what I mean? So let's flip the script.
Bill, tell me, how has COVID affected you and you as well, OT?
We can't hug anymore.
No, that's it.
It's really different in the UK than it is in America.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. What is it like over there? Because I know over here, you know, a certain amount of, you know, whoop-de-woo, but what is it like over there?
Go on.
It's pretty bad. I mean, you know, we're now into the third period of lockdown, which is like, means, you know, and in London, where we both are, we're in the highest level of restriction, tier 4, they call it, which means that everywhere's closed, nowhere's open. You know, all the shops are closed. There's restaurants are only open for delivery. We can't go out really. We have to wear a mask. We can't go into another household. We have to, you know, pretty much people are just.
You're not allowed to be in nobody else's house.
No, we can't be in anyone else's house. You know, so like my old dad, you know, I can't go and see him. You know, he's there on his own with the dog. I was like, oh man, I can't go and see him. We can't go to anyone's house. It's a really strange, surreal London right now. You know, the streets are empty. It's eerie.
A friend of mine showed me a picture of her parents coming to see her children in this suit. And I have to tell you, Bill, I started crying after I saw it because it was a real reality check. You seen the white grandeur suits that they gave to the grandparents?
Yeah.
The whole suit. It's called a hugging suit.
Yeah.
Yes. I've seen that thing. And it allows you to hug someone.
To hug your loved ones without hurt. Yeah. Like that could be part of our wow.
It
on that note alone, Bill, I got to tell you, at least you got another comedy routine for the next 4 years. Anything that dude said is comedy.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
You know, we got to take some positives from it, right? I mean,
you have to, man. You have to. You have to.
So
you know?
Bill,
anytime somebody says anything about your comedy, you say, "I got great people writing this stuff." You know,
I
got good people, great people, great people.
Yeah, I got great people. They just got to stay back 2 meters. That's all I got to
say. Bill, do you have Bill or OT, either one? Do you have any questions for us? Like Sugar Hill Gang questions. A lot of people, you know, this is like their first opportunity to kind of vibe with us. You know, I know, Bill, like you said, you grew up with us, and OT, you got it from, you know, different things. So, you know, do you have any questions for the Sugar Hill Gang?
What has kept you guys together for so long?
Glue.
Glue?
Yeah, you ever heard anything called crazy glue?
Well, no, what I'm about to.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So you guys understand that. So Michael Wright, Guy O'Brien, and Henry Jackson, we are the 3 original members of Sugar Hill Gang. And we knew each other, but we knew of each other, but we didn't know each other. So once we got together, the 3 of us became a family. Now, Hank is, of course, gone. But what happened is Michael Wright and Guy O'Brien became brothers. We, you know, all of the songs that you hear, all of that music, 95% of that was written lyrically, co-written by Michael and myself. So that combined with we just developed like a yin and a yang, or 2 sides of a coin thing. Like I told Mike is like the passion of us, and I'm kind of like the I don't want to say the brawn, because that's not really we've just developed an ability to be together, and our life has always been this. It's always been us against the world. And then when we got Han and we got Diamond and put this version of Sugar Hill together, it's always been our thing that Michael and I, we have never had a problem with each other. We've had 2 arguments in 40 years. 2 arguments in 40 years. One happened in Paris, and one happened at a festival in London. And before the day was out on both of those times, we were already hugging and, you know, damn near in tears. So you want to know what has kept us together all these years? It's love. There's no person. I love Michael Wright. Michael Wright is my guy. And then like Mike introduced me to Han and Diamond. And as far as I'm concerned, like we won together, we have lost together, and we have won again together. Yeah, and that's what it is.
That's like Bill and I.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
It. Exactly. Yeah,
that's it.
We're bound together, Ota, you and I, forevermore.
Same thing. It's the same thing with us, and like I said, the same thing with me, Mike, and Diamond and Han, and we just, you know, we've done so much, you know, and we've experienced so many things, and you know how entertainment works. You know, there's peaks and valleys, And you know, we've been together in the valley of the valley, and we're experiencing the peaks too together.
I think OT and Bill, you know, when you Hen and I have been running around with these guys for over 26 years, and in the time that's happened, you know, like you build these little bridges and you learn how to deal with each other. You know, even when G when he added his part of it, it made sense. You know, like even in the sense of everything being together. And when he left it, it was a void. And when he came back to it, it made sense. It made all the sense in the world. So you know, Hen and I have experienced both worlds. And was able to and when G, you know, came, the synergy it made sense. Like Henry and I couldn't have the same energy. Like with Hank, God rest his soul, he was our energy, and Mike. And when Hank left here, you know, like it threw everything off axis. And then when G put it back together, it rolled and moved the right way.
I have a saying, you know, bosses push, leaders pull. G is a natural born leader.
Bless your heart. Wow.
Quarterback.
That's good. That's good stuff. You guys,
that was
you know,
deep,
you know what? It's great hearing you guys talk. It's quite inspiring because, you know, this is something which is your whole lives, right? This is a lifetime project, you know?
Yeah.
And this is what I feel about, and OT, I'm sure you feel the same. You know, when you find something that you love, it becomes it's a lifetime project. You know,
Absolutely.
It's an ongoing project. You know, it never ends. It's just like, you know, and you grow as a person, you change as a person, but that affects the art that you're doing, and it sustains you through the ups and downs. You know,
I will say this. I will say that, you know, 79 to 85 was the first phase of us. That's what and then from 85 to 2005, it was a lot going on that I couldn't be a part of. So I had to remove myself. But it was always a part of me. I longed to do it, you know, because you have a thing, you know, like OT, your thing is dancing. That's your thing. You know what I mean? Like Bill, you know, music, and you know, that's your thing. This music has always been I play the drums. I'm a musician. You know, I perform. That's my thing. And so giving myself an opportunity to come back and do this, it was the God-sent gift to be able to do my thing again. And so for me to be able to do my thing with my best friend, and then two guys that, you know, I just totally admire and respect, and then do it on this world level is like, you know, some of the greatest moments of my entire life. So like you said, man, it's important that I get a chance to do my thing, but it's even more important that I get a chance to do my thing with people who get it, and then what we mean to the world. So
I was gonna ask that. What you guys feel like you kind of mean? I mean, me and Bill were in rehearsals, honest to God, and Bill would be watching the evolution of hip hop, and you literally see how you guys have become an institution, and you're now becoming the fathers or the last remaining living legends of hip hop. And how do you guys feel like you mean to the world and this genre that isn't mainstream anymore and selling like it used to? It's different type of hip hop now.
The thing of it is that it's a very unusual feeling to be this person, you know, to be considered this individual. You know, when people, you know, you're a legend and you're this and you're that, and I call it the realization of us. Now that I'm older and I'm mature and I have, you know, I've lived life, and you know, now I'm starting to take on and understand the magnitude of what it is that we mean to the world. But it's still a very unusual and humbling feeling to see people deal with us on the level that they deal with us.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll never get used to that title, but I respect and appreciate it. And I take it on. I mean, it means a lot. It's important for me to represent it properly.
It is. I think, and you know what? This using your music when we performed our dance, the show, the kind of audience that watch the show is all kinds of people, every kind of person, all age groups, all backgrounds. So you know, you're gonna have like 6-7-year-old kids watch the show and they love it. They're all gonna be looking out for, you know, Sugar Hill Gang records. They're gonna be a whole new generation. Rediscovers your music and all of that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I just want to make that be. That's the thing that's crazy too. That's mind blowing. Is that throughout the decades, that's what's happening. It continues. Yeah. It's things like this. It's like you guys doing Rapper's Delight on that show. Fresh Will Smith doing Apache on Fresh Prince. I mean, it's things. People, Kangaroo Jack. All of these different times where people have used our music, and it constantly keeps being reintroduced to this newly. I mean, we've done concerts where, you know, I tell a story. We were in Innsbruck, Austria one time, and it was like the oldest person in the place, and the place was packed. The oldest person in the place was like 30 years old, maybe. You know what I mean? And it was incredible. It's like, how do you know this music? And it's like, well, my dad played it for me, and then it's been here and it's been there. So, you know, it's a truly mind-blowing experience. This is incredible. But
and people have brought. I remember we were in a club in Ireland called Shake, and the owner of the club brought his grandchildren because he wanted his grandchildren to know what it sounded like in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a statement in itself, because these weren't kids who could get into a club. These were younger kids. The kids could have been no more than 10, 11 or what have you. But he brought them, he kept them in the office, told the show, and then watched it. And then he said, I wanted them to see this.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. Even to watch a few tapings ago, we did a interview with one of the DJs who's a prominent DJ here, and it was actually interesting. We're still learning things, and I can say I'm still learning things. I would gather that the guys would say the same thing. But while the guy was talking, his name is DJ Cassidy. He's one of the biggest DJs over here and over there. And while he was talking and telling G everywhere that he spun this record, G looked like a little kid. It like he still couldn't believe it. You know, this is the man who made the record and did the record. And I was watching that, and I became, you know, you get awed all over again. You're like, wow. It was oh, you playing it at Obama's? Oh, you was playing it at Jay-Z's wedding? Oh, you was playing that. And he goes, anywhere I play these 3 records, he goes, there's a rare night when I don't play it.
Yeah.
And it always moves people. So there again,
no question. No question.
You know,
Go ahead, OT. I'm sorry.
After we won with Bill, I actually was looking for it now, a present from one of the executive producers from Simon Cowell's company. And this was the gift. So it was the lyrics of the song. And I framed it, and it was Simon signed it, Simon Cowell, and he's like, you guys did it.
Yeah, you know what?
If I ever get there, if we ever can get back over there, we need to get together, and I will sign that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got that. We can do that. We can make that happen.
Definitely.
Oh, that'd be amazing. And you can sign my original vinyl as well.
Without question, it would be my pleasure.
Absolutely, Bill.
So, Bill, I have a question for you, Bill. This season, we have to go back to Strictly and do a winner's dance.
Okay.
So what are you going to do?
This. Come on. This dance, honestly, you guys, you have no idea the impact that this had, right? Look, I'm not a dancer. OT will tell you that.
Bro, you was doing your Hey,
I was doing my thing. Of course, I was doing my thing. You know.
Bill, you better take that back. You better take that back. You better take that back.
All right, I was okay. I'm a dancer. All right, whatever.
Because if you want to see some horrible dancing, I'll put this camera outside.
Right. You look good, man.
I was inspired. I was inspired. I worked hard. We trained every day for 12 hours. We had a fantastic teacher. We had great music. But the week that we danced to Rapper's Delight, it went crazy. It just blew up, right? Like most of the time, you do a dance and it gets a few views and a few comments online and and then you go on to the next week. It went nuts, right?
My phone was blowing off the hook. I had people calling me from all over London.
Janet Jackson.
Who came up with the routine? Who came up with the routine?
We had outside choreographers called Tommy and Lizzie, and they did the routine, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it, and I was like, Belle, changing it. Yeah, I was like, I don't like this because, and also the other way that Bill works is and it's how I work. Dance for me is what music is supposed to look like. So if you have a song or like a piece and somebody says, what does it look like? The steps that you do, how you move is supposed to be a representative of that. And the lyrics like, and it's on and on and on and on. That must work, it must go.
Right.
The feet must work. And it was just going through the music. And I'm not doing this. We're not doing this. So I changed a lot of the routine. But it was a group effort because we have a lot of people who work on a lot of dances. But that was amazing. I have one question. So many questions. Why the name Sugar Hill Gang?
Good question. Very good question. So, back in the days, in the 30s or the 40s, given in Harlem, okay, there was and it's still there, but back in that time, there was an area called the Sugar Hill District. Okay, it was a very upscale, very all the well-to-do people lived in the Sugar Hill District. Now, Sylvia, her family, they're Caribbean by birth, and they migrated to America. They came but she was raised in the Harlem area. So Sugar Hill was very special to her. It was a very fond, notion, and the area was always something that she held in high regard. So when the time came to name us, we were going to be called the Platinum Rappers. We were going to be called, we didn't know what to call us. Something, right. And so she said, well, I know, we'll just call you guys the Sugar Hill Gang. And at the time, I really didn't know this whole backstory about Sugar Hill. And so again, I'm a 17-year-old, I'm a teenager, and I'm, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and wild. And she said, Sugar Hill Gang. And first thing, when she said gang, I was like, I ain't no gang. I'm not part of a gang. And that really kind of threw me off. And then the Sugar Hill thing, I was like, that doesn't sound like the Commodores, or that doesn't sound like the Jackson 5. That's like, ugh. So honestly, initially, I couldn't stand the name. I thought it was terrible, And then, but she was, Sylvia was the producer, and she was the mastermind behind the group. And so she said Sugar Hill Gang, and I was like, we were like, okay, cool, and here it is. But it turned out to be, it's amazing. Yeah, Sugar Hill is a great name, and
I've got one question, right? And this is a very nerdy musical question because that's the kind of person I
sounds like me.
Exactly. There's a lot of mythology around about this song now, about how it came to be. But one of the things that fascinates me about it, and I think actually one of the things which gives it its enduring appeal, is the spontaneity of it. It's like you capture a moment. It's like somebody said, I think it might have been Sylvia said, it was like putting lightning in a bottle. It's like you've got the sense of fun and spontaneity and just captured it. And every time you play it, it's like you're letting this out. Is that now? The story that I heard was that you guys did it in one take. You recorded it all in one go. Is that right?
Yes. So this is the whole setup was because we were actual MCs. We were rappers and we were doing parties. We were actively doing parties. The way that you did it, like if let's say you and I and Han and Diamond, we were rappers with a DJ at a party. Well, if I got on the mic and I feel and I'm finished, I'm getting ready to finish. We call it passing the mic. So I would be like, all right, Bill, it's on you. So what you gonna do? That was your cue to know to start rapping. Okay. Yeah. And then when you got done, that your cue was, the same thing. Pass it on to the next person. So we decided, because Mike, when we heard what each person had, Mike was talking about what you hear is not a test. That was a great way to start the record. Then Hank was the rocker, the party rocker. So we were going to let him come on and then kind of pick up the pace. And then I was kind of like the smooth one or whatever. And they was like, well, we're going to let you close it out. So the deal was Mike would go first, Hank would go second, and I would go third. Well, because we had never been in a studio and recorded anything, we didn't know studio protocol. Before we got there, they had already recorded the music. So that song, that was what they recorded. So they went in there and recorded 15 minutes of this music. Wow. We didn't know. So when we went in the studio, she was like, they press record, Mike started. So Hank, that's what happened. So Mike went, he passed it to Hank passed it to me, I passed it back to Mike. Well, the reason why the song is so long and we never stopped is because they didn't tell us to stop. Like you said, they were, and you got to understand now, we're in the studio. It was 3 mics, Mike, myself, and Hank. We're in the studio. They're all in the control booth. There's people in there, and everybody, and nobody is telling us, okay, that's it. They just let us go. And the only reason why we stopped is because the music ran out. That's the only reason why it stopped. Right. And the only thing we did was like, one thing we had to do one time, we had to kind of like just kind of take a brief second, because unfortunately we didn't know it at the time, but Hank didn't understand the total protocol. Hank didn't understand the total protocol about passing the mic. So we had to explain that to Hank. And then of course, once we did that, that's why that's why it sounds so live, because it was live. It was we knew what we were going to say, but we also were in the moment. The reason why I explained to people why I spell my name out, which now is like the synonymous thing. Most people meet me and be like, oh, the MASTER. Well, the reason why I did that is because in those days there was no video to support a song. So I was smaller than Mike and Hank. Right. So my thought was, the way that I wrote my rhymes, the way an author writes a book, like, you use detailed words to describe yourself. So that's why I tell people I'm the smallest guy. I got a little face, brown eyes. My name is going to be known all over the world. I was making sure that when people saw us, they knew who I was. So that's the whole reason.
So how tall are you? How tall are you now? I want to know.
5'7".
Oh, like me.
Yeah, I'm short. I'm very short.
And Bill, the most amazing thing to me, Bill, is like when the song came out, right? Radio and all the radio disc jockeys and stuff, they have strict orders. You don't play anything over 3 minutes and some change.
3 minutes.
I mean, now it's 3 minutes and less than that. But
that's right.
This song, we were hearing it back to back. 15 minutes, they couldn't stop playing it.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I know. And that's what I mean. Just to say that what gives it that freshness and the spontaneity is what you've been describing. Is this sort of almost like, oh, well, we're going to do this as live. This is like a live concert. We're just trying to try and capture it.
It was recorded. It was a recorded. Basically, it was a recorded party. That's what it was. It was just us doing it.
Like you had musicians, right? You had like a bass and drums, a bass player and a drummer just playing the bass line.
No, the music was already done. It was like a record, but just music, just like a complete instrumental. So
they recorded live.
We could be here all day. We really appreciate it. But before we go, we have to let you know that you are now a part of the Sugar Hill Gang family. So when we see you and we call you and we see you and we say, "What's up, cuzzo?" That means you are a part of the family. You are our Sugar Hill family. You are people in the struggle.
Right.
Welcome to the Sugar Hill Gang family. Thank you so much for being a part of our show.
Thank you.
Really
for
appreciate everything you're doing, and it's been a true honor.
Bill, it's been crazy, man. Yo, when we come to London, sometime we play live. You got to come on and play with us, man.
Do you know? You try and stop me, I'll be there. You know?
Well, thank you, man. Thanks again, Bill, OT. Thanks a lot for being a part of the Sugar Hill Gang podcast. It's been real, man. It's on and popping.
Thank you, guys.
This is the Sugar Hill Gang podcast. I am your host, Master G. Say good night, T Dynasty.
Good night, T Dynasty.
Say good night, Hen Dog.
Wakanda forever.
Say good night, OT.
Good night.
Say good night, Bill.
Good night.
Beat don't stop till the break of dawn.
I love that.
Y'all. We love you for loving us. Sugar Hill Gang podcast. Thank y'all. Peace, and we are out.